Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be reviewing the McFarlane DC Direct Page Punchers Superman 78 action figure. Wow, that was a really long name. Anyway, do not mistaken this for the Christopher Reeve movie Superman, because this is more like based from the Superman 78 comic, which I guess is technically based from the Superman movie by Christopher Reeve. Anyway, we went into circle there, but I guess you know what I mean. So it's some kind of a licensing thing. So I guess McFarlane decided to create this, which is more based on the comic book of Superman 78. So out of the box, he comes with the Superman art card with the biography at the back. And as I said, since this is the page puncher, he comes with his own comic book. And then he has two alternate flying ends, which I think I remember this mold that they use because he has this huge hand syndrome, and unfortunately they did not improve on that. I still think that these are quite too big for the figure. Then he also have this pair of, I guess, grabby hands. Then he has this, well, I guess this is not a set, this is more like another type of alternate hand you can use. He has this pointing hand because Superman like to points, I guess. And then he also has this, not sure, well, I haven't really read the comics, I'm not sure if this is kryptonite or some kind of key, which just happened to be green. But whenever I see green and Superman, I don't know, I automatically think kryptonite. So those are everything. Oh, okay. He also comes with this standard McFarlane stand, which is kind of a bummer because considering this is Superman, they should have at least provided a flight stand instead of this one. Now let's have a closer look at the figure. Well, I guess this is another one of those artistic choices or experiment that McFarlane is trying, and if it will work, they will continuously make more of this. I think they are making it look like basically an action figure that came out straight from a comic book, which, to be honest, for me is actually a very cool idea, because looking at the head sculpt, you will see that there are panel lining there. And I'll be honest, at first I had my doubt on it, but looking at it, I think as far as the head sculpt is concerned, there are actually certain angle which it actually looks pretty cool. And it actually even looks like Christopher Reeve, the actor. So I guess, but if you will see, if we will look at it straight like that, it's kind of looks off. So I guess this is one of those artistic style wherein you need to put him on a specific angle in order for it to look good. So yeah, for me, I actually like this head sculpt, and I love experimenting on it when I was posting it. Now on the cell shading, I would have liked it if they went with this panel lining style that they do in order for it to look like a drawing from a comic book. But combining it with the panel lining, combining it with the cell shading, I think is overkill. I believe that this would have looked much better if they just focus more on one thing and not the cell shading. they just let go of the cell shading side and just focus more on making it look like as I said, comic book drawing that became an action figure. Because I believe that adding this panel line, that is actually pretty cool. But this, I don't know. I think this destroys it. Um, it's just not the kind of thing that I want, because I believe that this kind, when something's cell shaded, it kind of limits the posing possibilities of the figure, and thus less fun. I was actually under the impression that they reused the Peach Puncher Superman from the Black Adam wave, which is the same thing that they used on the Blue Superman on the Justice League of America Plastic Man wave uh, on this one. But now I'm thinking that I think it is a completely new mold. It doesn't even have that specific mold here that I usually had check out in order to ensure that it is the page puncher mold. So yeah, because if you will look at it, I think it is a completely new mold. There isn't that much muscle definition on it, which I guess is accurate to this version of Superman. And I think and that's the one thing that made me think that actually makes me think that this is a new mold that they exclusively made for the Christopher Reeve figure. Now on the negative, what I don't really like is this one, the way they made this, because it's like the skin is over the costume. Maybe on this one it's not that obvious, but I kinda hope that they kinda at least put a little depth on this so that it will kinda align with the blue with the torso, because right now it is pretty obvious that it's like he's wearing a flesh mask. And yeah, looking at it closer, it kind of bothers me, but when you display it at a certain distance, it's okay. But again, I think this is something that McFarlane should have improved on. I don't think it is very well executed, because yeah, it kind of looks a little odd. Another thing that I don't like on this wall is that this one, the joint that they use for the elbow, is the ratchet is kind of showing. I mean, just look at that. This is it. It is even worse on this side. I mean, that's a really poor finish. I mean, they should have at least work on this one, sand it a little so that the ratchet won't be appearing. It does, on the positive side, it does give the figure a very good range. My problem is that they should have just at least smoothen this part instead of seeing that ratchet mold. They also did not fix the logo. The triangle there is still missing. On a positive note, I love the way they engineered this part of the shoulder, because it actually completely covers any gap, no matter how you move it. There. So it definitely covers all the gap. It's not good. It doesn't give any additional like a butterfly articulation, but it does do its job very well in covering the gap when you're moving the arm. It's also good that he has the S logo on the cape, and the cape is also wired, which is another plus, because Word cape adds the fun factor and playing with the figure. I also noticed that when it comes to the clothespins, I don't think they are that big. I think they are actually pretty good on their size. What what the one that are really big are the other alternate hands. I mean, just look at that. Look at that. Are those the same hands? There's another one. And then what's worse is the plying hands. Yeah. So I tend to just leave the clothespin hands on him because the other alternate hands are actually, I believe they are way oversized for this figure. The cut on the abdomen also, it is actually one of my concern on the picture because I had the impression that it is too big, but on hand, I guess it isn't that bad. But yeah, I don't think the gap is too big. I think it's fine. Now for the articulation, well, his neck is fixed, so he only has that ball peg there, so he can look down. That much actually, it's pretty well, but he cannot look up because this will be on the way, which is kind of a bummer again because for a flying pose, he cannot look up that much. So the only option for you is to work on the torso like that. Anyway, you can do that. You can also do a little side to side tilt. For the hand, typical McFarlane articulation, but as I said before, I love what they did here because it does its job of covering any gap. So there, then he has the ab cut there, double jointed elbow, double pegged hands. Then for the abdomen, you can do that. He also has a waist rotation. You can look up, you can look down, side to side. So pretty good. For the leg, it actually has a thigh swivel. Then you can kick forward that far, and you can kick back that far before that gets in the way. Double jointed knee. Then this has rotation like that, and then it also has that, then you can do that, and then toe articulation. Just kind of tight on my copy. Let's test the other one. Yeah, the toe is actually a little tight. I think it's the way it is molded. Anyway, to finish the articulation, you can do the bend down pretty well. Now, as per request from the comments on my unboxing video of the Superman 78, here he is compared to the Superman blue of the Plastic Man Wave. This is actually the mold which I thought they used, but as you can see, guys, they are completely different. The Christopher Reeve mold is actually a little bit more bulkier, although this one is a little bit it's slim, but there are a lot of muscle definitions on him. In this one, it doesn't, but which is actually accurate to the character, to the Superman version we're going to. So yeah, here he is with the Superman blue. And another request from you guys. Here he is next to Hush Batman. I think Hush Batman still holds the throne for being more bulkier. But height-wise, I think this Superman matches perfectly with this Batman. Here he is next to the Nightfall Batman. Here he is next to the Superman Returns version. Here he is next to Henry Cavill Superman. Here he is next to the BBS version of Doomsday. Here he is next to Armored Batman. Here he is next to Wonder Woman. Here he is next to Action Comics Superman. Here he is next to Pattinson Batman. Here he is next to Val Kilmer Batman, or Batman Forever. And finally, here he is with the Keaton Batman. Overall, guys, if you want a Christopher Reeve or the movie figure of Superman, I think you should hold out and wait for the Superman movie version because, as I said, this is another one of McFarlane's artistic experiment. Don't get me wrong, it is a good figure, I actually like it, but I hope that when it comes to the Christopher Reeve or the movie Superman, they improve on that connection, the connection of the torso and this, because yeah, I don't think that the finish of this one is that clean. I think they need to work on that. And then the other one is that make sure that the logo is correct. Aside from that, guys, I think that this is actually a pretty cool figure and a pretty good concept for me. I'm just hoping that next time that McFarlane want to pursue on this kind of gimmick, especially on the page puncher line, because they it is definitely on that line wherein this is like a figure that came out of a comic book. I think they should drop the funnel line gimmick and focus more on making it look like a character, like an action figure from a comic via those panel lines. I think that will work best. Or if they still want, instead of cell shading, they add like a dark wash on it. I think that will be a better combination instead of this panel line and cell shading. Anyway, guys, if you've reached this part of my video, thanks a lot. If you like my video, please don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, enjoy life and keep collecting.